Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Friday, November 7th, a little after 6:30 at night, and this is our daily recap video for our $1 billion club. That is YieldMax's 4 individual income covered call strategy funds on CONY, MSTY, NVDY, and TSLY, following Coinbase, MicroStrategy, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Reminder, I'm on X at ETF_Inspector1, letting you know when videos are releasing, as well as reposting all the different announcements from related to ETFs and their distributions. All right, it was an odd day in the market at first. It seemed like we were following up with another ugly day like yesterday, but then things took a turn and we got a little bit of green, or a lot of green, on the screen. But for these 4, we had Coinbase going up 4.8%, CONY almost keeping up 4.04%, MSTR up nearly 2%. But look at, as you can see, look at how far below, right up here. Let's see, what was your break even? Right around 237.40. At one point, it was at 220, down like $17 before ending up almost 2%. MSTY doing the same, up 1.36%. NVIDIA just finally broke above even right at the end of the day, so NVIDIA did not quite keep up, actually down 0.13%. They did go up after hours. And then Tesla down 3.68%. TSLY not quite dropping as bad, down 3%, 3.03%. All right, when we take a look at our funds on our spreadsheets, we'll start with the trades. Every day they come out around 5:30 or sometimes a little later. And so we've got, starting off, CONY. They just sold some more calls. So if you remember yesterday's video, they did not have 100% of the possible calls sold. So at this point, which was nice, they got a little bit of update. Hopefully they sold these a little later in the day. Let's see. The lowest they sold was 302.50. Ooh, they probably sold these early in the day. Sorry, just finished dinner. I can't quit clearing my throat. They must have sold these early in the day, selling a 302.50 while it was, well below in the 280s, because now we're sitting at almost 310. So a lot of the calls they sold instantly went into the money. But they sold 302.50s, 305s, 310s, and 312.50s. They also bought the other side of the call spreads, looking like around a $10 spread roughly on those, bringing in $1.5 million. When we switch over and look at our holdings, no changes in the synthetics. Those are right here in purple, or whatever color you want to call that, plum. They have a 300 and a 390. The 300 for 11.21 and the 390 for 12.19. Both started the day underwater. Obviously, the 390 still is, but the 300, once everything uploads for the new holdings, will be in the positive by a decent amount. The calls that they did have sold already for next week all closed out of the money. They've already rolled all positions. There was nothing left to roll. That's why you saw today just a selling of new. So we're not too worried about this. It's Friday. We have a week look ahead video that'll come out this weekend, and we'll have everything updated with all the new sales as well. And we'll take a look at how far in or out of the money we are on all of that. Yesterday, people sold out of the fund. 1,075,000 shares dropped off from the outstanding shares, bringing it to 203,625,000. Assets under management, 1.1 billion at the start. Obviously, that's going to go up nicely with that increase. And the NAV was 545 when the day started. Today was payday. So if you have CONY, you would have received 8.87 cents per share. Next announcement will be on the 12th, 5 days away. And just like on our week look ahead video this weekend, I'll also make guesstimates for what the payment will be. Next we have MSTY. MSTY had a whole lot of trades to make as well. Similar to CONY, they have already rolled everything to next week. So as you can see in this, they call these a QSIP, but you've got MSTR, you've got the year 25, and then you have the month 11, the date 14. So as you can see, there's nothing for the 7th, that would have been today, to close out. So they got to sell a whole bunch. Let's see, 242.50 all the way through 260s is what they sold. They did actually close some of their higher ones, 267.50, 270, 272.50, and 275. So they are closing some of the things that were already sold for next week and dropping them to a closer strike. MSTR did end up going up about 2%, so 241. Let's see, nothing they sold today is already in the money, but we've got some that's fairly close. They brought in a total of $11.6 million options trading today. Again, nothing that they sold went into the money, and everything was already out till next week, so there was nothing that had to be closed. They've got 4 synthetic positions, a 270 for December 19th, a 255 for January 16th, a 270 for January 16th, and a 300 for January 16th. With the stock at 241, all 4 of them are underwater, so they're all going to cost lots of money to close out, but we're not quite there yet, so we're not worried about it. Those will all move in our favor once the upload comes out, but nothing will have moved out of the negative. Yesterday, people sold out of the fund 750,000 shares, bringing it to 273,075,000. Assets under management of 2.6 billion. NAV at the start of the day 955. So closing at 968 or thereabout. Today again payday, so we all got 16.88 cents per share, as long as you had the shares yesterday and bought them prior to yesterday. Next we have NVDY. Let's see, NVDY already had everything rolled out till next week as well. I don't believe they did not have 100% of their calls sold, so we've got a decent amount of that they were able to just sell, not having to buy to close. They did close some of their farthest out of the money strikes, 197.50, 200, 207.50, and 210s, and everything they sold fell between 187.50 and 195. And of course, they're going to buy the other side of the call spread as well. That brought in a total of $5.9 million on the option trading for the day. As far as our synthetic is concerned, we see a increase from yesterday, 700 new contracts at the synthetic January 16th 200 strike price. Those are actually, I call it underwater, with NVIDIA at 188, so they would cost to close out. They also have 205s for November 21st. That's only 2 weeks away now, and they are underwater as well. Again, everything was already rolled, so nothing had to be closed. They did close some of the furthest out things, but and then they sold some more leading into next week. People bought into NVIDIA yesterday, 500,000 shares, bringing it up to 110,250,000. Assets under management, 1.6 billion. NAV at the start of the day, 15.35. They dropped 2 cents. Not too bad. Today was payday. They did have a nice big payment here, 31.86 cents per share. That's pretty crazy. I mean, if you just take a step back and think about dividend stocks, like a $15, well, this isn't a stock, it's an ETF, but that paid 31-cent distribution in 1 week. Be one thing if it was in a quarter, but that's a big payment. And we've got next payment will be announced next Wednesday. So again, tune in this weekend for the guesstimate video and the week look ahead. And last but not least, TSLY. So TSLY did actually have options that needed to be closed out. You can see all these 07s. These all were expiring today, the 7th. And we're also seeing the synthetic there, purple. So they added 340 contracts to their synthetic 450. So that means they're going to buy $450 calls for January 16th, and they're going to sell $450 puts for the same date. After that, they're going to close out their sold calls that expired today. Everywhere from 460 to 470. You can see they're paying change the whole way, anywhere from 10 cents to 24 cents. Closing out the other side of the call spread, that doesn't really matter. And now selling new for next week, you can see collecting basically, I would say $8 to $9 on all of them, except for we've got a small chunk here collecting $5.25. They're the furthest out of the money. So we've got calls sold next week on Tesla anywhere from 440 through 455. That brought in $16.1 million on the option trading for the day. From yesterday, we saw the synthetic increase at the January 16th 450 by 500 contracts. Let's see, 450 is actually underwater, as well as the 470 with a closing price of Tesla at 429. So something that seems odd. Well, I guess they dropped a lot today, so that's at the start of the day. I didn't understand why that was positive. So they weren't that far off of 450 when the day started. But both will be negative now after Tesla took a pretty bad hit today, 3.6%. All right, yesterday nothing that they were closing out obviously ended in the money, not even close, 7 to 9% out. Yesterday, people bought into TSLY, so maybe they were taking advantage of X day where it drops by the amount of the distribution, and the fact that yesterday was an ugly day, so it was dropping anyway. But 2 million new shares, bringing the outstanding shares up to 154,500,000. Assets under management, 1.2 billion at the start of the day, 825 NAV price before they had their drop down to about $8 by the close. Again, today is payday, so you received your 14.7 cents per share of TSLY. All right, that is all I have for you on this video. So I will put out most likely Saturday, maybe Sunday, but most likely Saturday, the week look ahead and payment guesstimate video for this series. So I got a dad joke for you. This one seems more like a riddle, but thank you for watching. Appreciate all the likes, shares, comments, feedback. I get reports from YouTube. It shows how many likes and shares and everything per week, and it really I appreciate it a lot. So, all right, dad joke of the day. What falls in winter but never gets hurt? Snow. Yeah, not funny at all. Don't blame me. It's a dad joke calendar. I just peel off the page. All right, have a good night. Have a good weekend. Catch you in the next video.